Hello, little universal people. Um, let's see. Today we're going to talk about setting the stage for repatterning. Um, so I've talked a little bit about pattern interrupts. I've kind of explained what that is. This is going to be a little more digging into how actually to put that to use. Um, So just a quick recap, like pattern interruption is a simple way to rewire the brain. Um, I like to give you guys examples from my experience because that's how I can better apply things to my own life. So I don't know how your brain works, but that's how mine works. So I'm gonna come at it from my point of view. Um, so when we get to that point where we're still like semi-conscious before we like slip into that old pattern and get like sucked into the undertow of our emotion, we have a choice. We have a point where we are like on the cusp, like we're right on that line, like aggravation before it turns to anger. You can actually, I talked about that kind of like positioning, like you can move up or down from that point because you're still conscious enough to do it. Um, I can give you like some examples, but like uh, when I find myself getting like really frustrated about things and really annoyed, um, that gives me a good opportunity. That's like the check engine light in the car, you know, that's like the before things really go wrong, something is brewing. Um, so in that moment, like you have an opportunity to literally look at yourself like a mechanic and be like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What is this telling me? Go through that diagnostic process all on your own and figure yourself out before you have that eruption, before the engine overheats, before you run out of oil, before you break down. Um, that is a huge benefit to working in this way with this dynamic. Um, the better you know yourself, the more you will be able to control those things that happen in and around your environment. I know that sounds backwards to some people, but if the only thing that you can truly control is yourself, your thought patterns, your emotions, your vibration, um, and that really does affect your external environment because if you're constantly snapping at people, people are not going to enjoy your company. Um, if you are very calm and um, like just very authentic. Authentic is a good word. Um, those are the people that I find myself really drawn to. It are like those people that I can have a conversation with. I can have a difference of opinion. We can have completely different life experiences, but we agree to understand where each other are coming from. Um, those are some of the most fulfilling interactions that I've had because I get to see things that have not been my life experience. So it gives me another depth of understanding from other people's perspectives, which is something I really, really enjoy being like the information nerd that I am. Um, okay, so let's see, where are we in the book? Okay, so a pattern interrupt person, their job, if you find it very hard to do this for yourself, um, will be a person that you will ask, like, my daughter is constantly around me. Um, we live in the same house. She is kind of my go-to because she is very balanced individual, and she she has no qualms telling me if I'm being irrational, or that I need to look at this from a different perspective, which I appreciate. Of course, she is turning 20 next month, so like she's in a place where she can do that. Um, I would not put this like on a child, like a young child or anything like that. We've always kind of had a relationship where she has been uh, just having a very honest relationship with me. It's not been like a subordinate type of relationship. It's been more of an equal type of relationship, which is great because she has a very good footing under her. Um, and so sometimes if I need to have that pattern interrupt, she'll just jump in and be like, "Hey, mom, stop." And I'll just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I'm kind of like following my emotion, and I really should not be. Um, so that's a really good thing. The thing that you want to achieve with the pattern interrupt is to get you to refocus um, on being here in this situation and not attaching this situation to A, B, C, D, E, F, H, Z things that have happened like in the past. And for some of us, when we start working through this stuff, it can be really hard. Um, because like we are juggling a lot of stuff, we're trying to heal a lot of stuff, which brings up a lot of stuff. If you've ever had the experience of like trying to pull weeds out of a garden, or oh man, the wild grapes, those are crazy. The roots are everywhere. The vines are everywhere. They're stuck on everything. And a lot of the things that you're trying to just pull them out of actually comes with it. So if you're pulling them like down out of trees, like there's branches coming off, there's tons of leaves coming off, there, like, it just makes a really big mess, and that's what you're doing to yourself internally. Um, but in doing that, like, you get to landscape your interior the way that you want it, just like when you get rid of these crazy weeds and vines and all this stuff that you don't really need to have hanging out in your physical space, your emotional space, intellectual space, like your aspects of humanity. Um, so we want to come back to a state of conscious presence, so that we can respond to situations instead of reacting to them. Um, so when you do that, um, there should be like, and I don't know, this is kind of like a little nuanced maybe, but um, if you find that you're reacting instead of responding, you shouldn't judge that. I mean, it's okay to have emotions. It's not okay to just let them come out however they want. Feel the feeling and then make a conscious choice on how to behave. A lot of us, and I mean, I was in that space, so I'm speaking from like my experience. But when somebody like really pisses you off, like they push your buttons to that point where you just want to snap, um, that is a very unconscious reaction. And it's okay to be annoyed or to be upset, or even, I mean, to be angry in certain circumstances. But you don't have to become the emotion. Um, I know the movie we watched with our kids. It was playing at the school. They had like a movie day when we brought the kids. It was called Inside Out. It's a movie where it's an animated film. All the human emotions, the gambit of them, actually have their own personality. Um, and to see how they kind of like interact with each other is it's very like interesting to see that outside of a human being. Um, so you you try to avoid the judgment of the emotion. Not you shouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna give you examples. You shouldn't be sitting around saying, "Oh, I'm such a jerk for getting upset about this." No, that's a judgment. Um, oh, that person pissed me off. That's blame shifting. You don't want to do that either. You just say, I'm feeling a little aggravated, agitated, stressed out. Any of the plethora of emotions that you're feeling. And I need a minute and process that. Be like, why am I feeling this way? That person, you know, their actions may have sparked this, but it's something deeper that's making me want to react. So figuring that out, like what is that trigger in you, that makes you just wanna, that's what you want to look at. And like I say, just take notes. Get to learn yourself. We're not all built the same. We're not all fixed the same. So yeah, take notes and learn about you. You're definitely an interesting being. You're the only one who lives your existence. So figure you out and then fix what you can when you can. It's not always one step, and it doesn't always have to be 50. So sometimes fixing one thing will lead to another. It'll just snowball, and sometimes you got to do them one at a time. But that doesn't make it like better or worse. It is what it is. That's how life works. All right. So the judgments are not helpful and compound the lower vibrational energy, making it ever harder to overcome these reactions. So we try to stay away from the judgment and the like complaining about things. And I have been around family, and extended family, like grandparents, parents, children, that all they do when they get together is complain. Complain, 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 and then there's nothing but fighting. And you can see the generational dysfunction. And it's a very interesting thing to witness from the outside, because they don't even realize that they're bringing all of this into their relationships. And it's like, the grandparents are yelling at the grandchildren, and the grandchildren are yelling at each other, and then yelling at the parents, and then the parents are yelling at their parents, and then they're yelling at the children. It's just everybody's yelling. Whew, it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of ego. So we're going to try and get out of the reactions. You can tell through that dynamic that there is a lot of reactionary behaviors. A lot of them are probably learned behaviors, considering it's 3 generations deep by now. So what we want to do is change our focus. We want to celebrate the successes, even if you are like, "Ugh," and then you're like, okay, I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to take a walk. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to take a walk. That's a success. You interrupted that reaction in that moment. Hell yes. That's exactly what you want to do. It's amazing. Those little tiny moments where you can catch yourself before you slide, that's success. That is so much different. You're taking that step. It's like when your child takes their first step, it's like you want to throw a party. You're like, hell yeah, you did it. Like, this is freaking amazing. Like, look at what you can do. Look at what you've learned. And stepping into being conscious of yourself as a human being is the same way. Unconsciousness is like infancy. You can't really do anything for yourself, but you just go with what your body tells you. You go where your emotions tell you, and you have no choice. Now you have choices, and you're starting to exercise those choices. Hell yes, celebrate that. Celebrate. Like, honestly, bake yourself a freaking cake and eat the whole damn thing. I don't care how you celebrate. Just do it, because that's progress. That is so much progress. That makes me, like, so excited and so happy. I remember the first time I noticed that I was breaking that cycle. And I actually got, like, proud of myself. And it was a very new feeling. Okay. Yep. All right. I'm gonna be good. It was a very new feeling for me. I don't think I had ever taken the time to look at myself um, like I could accomplish anything. Um, because as a child, like, I had all that power stripped from me. Um, Whether intentionally or not, it's what happened. So getting to a point where I was stepping into, some people call it like reparenting yourself, and being able to actually see my own successes um, was a different dynamic for me. So, um, yeah, just celebrate you. Like, you know what you've been through. You know how hard this shit is. Um, Celebrate any chance that you get. Like, be your own cheerleader. Honestly. Um, let's see. Let's see. All right. So dealing with problems in the moment will open a vast wealth of mental freedom due to the issue being dealt with at the time and not having to think about it ad nauseum. This is something that I used to do. I used to ruminate on every situation and be like, oh my gosh, that person is like such a jerk. Why did they say this to me? And eventually, I got so bad that I would have like arguments like 7 different ways in my head before it ever was even presented to me as an argument. Um, so like I knew exactly what I was gonna say, like this person that, like bringing up old drama, like it was very bad. It was very very bad, and um, it kept me very stagnant and very unhappy for a long time. Um, so now we want to deal with problems in the moment. We want to address those things and let them go. Let them go. Like, I dealt with it, it's done, it's great, be free. Um, because the only thing it's going to slow down is your progress. It's probably not going to hurt anybody's feelings that talk to you like dirt because they don't care and that's why they did it in the first place. So, which is not a judgment, it's just reality. Hurt people hurt people. So, yeah, I learned that the hard way. So, this is our step 13. This is our homework. I'm going to take the last couple minutes to go through that with you. So it says, take this space and think of some ways that you choose to stay present. Would this be an effective pattern interrupt for you? So like I said, I like to be in nature. Counting does not work for me. You need to find what works for you. Maybe taking some deep breaths, maybe, punching a punching bag. Maybe you need like some physical exertion, throwing things away. My daughter likes to do that when she's upset. She likes to throw things away. Like her own things, things that she's like, this has no emotional value to me right now, so I'm going to get rid of it. So yeah, you just have to find what works for you. And then, if you need somebody on the exterior of you to remind you, if you start sliding, then do that as well. And let's see. Who would you trust to spot your triggers and get you out of that reactive spiral? Like I said, I have a very balanced child that I have asked if that is okay with her, and she was like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. She's like, I know you well enough to know when you're headed down there, and I'll snap you out of it, which is both a benefit for me and the rest of our household. So I thank her for that so much. And I was just leaving a note at the end here, like, honestly, when I'm having a hard time, I try to troubleshoot with my kids. Even all the way down to my younger one, when he's having some issues, and also I'm having issues around the same subject. This last year it has been school. We'll sit down together and we'll kind of like troubleshoot without triggering each other. Just having a conversation. I'm not trying to, force my perspective down his throat, and he is not trying to force his down my throat. We're just having a conversation, which is a lot easier when you don't have emotions involved. I mean, he's not doing anything to me besides not listening to my wishes. So, I'm trying to explain to him like how his choices are going to affect the rest of his life going forward, which can be kind of tricky when you're dealing with teenagers that kind of think they know everything. But you realize that you don't know everything, even when you're my age. So, yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Hopefully we're celebrating success and eating cake. Or popsicles. I know over here it's the middle of June, sort of towards the end of June, so it's hot. So popsicles, ice cream cake, whatever makes you happy. Go grab a pineapple and eat that. I'm not gonna tell you what you should do, but you guys continue hanging in there and learn yourself. That's it. Okay. Love you guys. Peace to the universe. Love you. Bye.